Hello, everybody, and welcome to our next installment of the incoming student and family webinars. We have some time with the Academic Advising Center about summer advising and course registration today. I am Danielle Morgan Acosta, she, her, hers, the Associate Dean of Students for Student Engagement. We're very excited to have you here with us. We are going to turn it over to the academic advising staff to walk us through some slides and talk through some things. A few housekeeping pieces. If you have any questions, please put those in the chat to me. And once they are finished with the presentation, we will go about making sure that we get all of those answered. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Yvette and the team.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Yvette Walters, and I serve as the Director of Academic Advising. And I'm going to apologize in advance because I had an allergic reaction that really messed up my throat. So every once in a while, my voice will crack. So I apologize if that happens. I'm so glad that you're here to join us today to share our information. And now I'm going to turn it over to Tyra.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyra Lewis. I'm the Assistant Director for Academic Advising. I am so happy to be here and hope you find this webinar very informative. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brandon Frensick, the newest Assistant Director, brought over from Becker as the game guru. So nice to see you all here. Hope that we can help you and answer a lot of your questions today. Slide. All right, so firstly, I'd love to just go over the agenda real quickly about what we're going to discuss today. And of course, we will offer the option to answer any questions that you may have through text. So the first thing we're going to talk about is basically what we call first things first, the things you should be doing or have done already or working on now. The next thing, number 2 point, we'll talk about how academic advising works at Clark. Then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of fall 2021 course registration. Then we're going to break down Clark curriculum and what it takes to graduate. We'll talk about advanced standing credit. We'll talk about specific degree requirements. We want to talk a little bit about adjusting to the rigor of college level academics and balancing your schedule as well as unscheduled time, and what we believe it takes to make successful Clarkies.
Okay, so first things first, your check to-do list. You'll find this on the Clark website, on the Welcome website. So there's a listing for first years and transfer students of things that you need to do. First and foremost, please, please, please activate your Clark account. We get a lot of different emails from different email accounts. It's kind of hard to identify who we're speaking to and who we're addressing. Sometimes the information can be a little sensitive. So it's really important that we know who we're talking to and who is responding. So please activate your Clark email account and use your Clark email account going forward for any communication with anyone at the university. Also, please complete your summer advising registration tutorial. Just a list of a few deadlines that have come and gone. June 24th, the writing placement was due. If you haven't yet completed that, please get a writing sample in. You will not be placed into a class that has a VE designation, a PLS designation, which I'll get into a little later. And you'll need to get into that, but we'll need to assess your writing abilities. So please make sure you get the writing placement in, complete your faculty advisor information form so we can match you appropriately with an advisor. If you're looking to take a math-based course, a quantitative course this semester, please do so by completing the math placement test. And also your course selection worksheet. This is important when you're meeting with your advisor. You need to have this completed in full, all of your courses, your FYI and a backup, and a list of your primary courses that you're interested in, and then a list of backups. This is open enrollment at this point in time, so courses are filling and changing rapidly. And it's important for your advisor to have these courses that you're interested in available so that they can make sure that your placement tests are in so that you can register, or they can check in on that for you. And then just to have a more productive meeting with your advisor so that your advisor will know what classes you're interested in. Make sure you're taking the appropriate level classes. So when you register, you're not registering for something above your level or below your level. So that's important to have that in and submit that prior to meeting with your advisor, so your advisor can have some time to review the course worksheet. And then finally, schedule an appointment with your summer advisor. You can do that through the Moodle website found on your Clark U portal. There is a tutorial there, so if you're not familiar with Moodle, there is a tutorial there that can show you how to access Moodle and how to access the information there.
And just to pop in here on the placement test for any questions that might come up about the Becker transfer students, obviously that may not apply to you if you've taken or completed core English and a math class at Becker. So just to not scare you on that one. Thank you, Tyra.
So first, I'm just going to give a quick review of what advising is like at Clark. So each student is assigned to a pre-major advisor, which is a summer advisor, and a first-year intensive advisor. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit on the next slide. And then they also have a major advisors. But at Clark, we have what's called the other specialized advisors. So we have the pre-professional advisors for the students who are probably thinking about going into pre-med or pre-law or doing an engineering program and eventually perhaps want to go on to the Columbia 3-2 engineering program. Then we also have the specialized advisors. One of the important offices at Clark is the Student Accessibility Services, and that is the office that helps students with accessibility needs. Some of the students who had perhaps a 504 IEP in high school, that office would help those students get the services that they need. They just need to be registered with that student. We also have academic support probation advisors, and we understand that things may happen at Clark, and the satisfactory academic progress GPA is 2.0, and sometimes for whatever reason, students tend to fall below that. So we have advisors who help work with the student to identify resources or areas where they need some specialized help. And then within that academic support, we also have what's called the tutoring program that helps students find tutors in different departments or as is needed. We also have a multicultural and first generation student support who help support the first generation student and students of color, multicultural students. That office is strictly dedicated to that office, and Peyton Wu, who is fantastic, she heads that department. If anyone needs the name for the Clark employees who run this program, we'd be happy to provide them for you. And as for academic advising, we just provide an overview of general advising to all the undergraduate student population. Next slide, Julia, please. So a little bit more about the academic advising at Clark. So the advisor, so the first, once we get the list of the students who have been accepted and deposited at Clark from the admissions office, they're assigned to a summer advisor. And that summer advisor is made up, we have a summer advising team that is made up of staff members and faculty members. We assign the student by the academic advising interest the academic interest that they listed on the application form. So if a student say, I may think about going into political science, we do have an advisor, a faculty member who serves on our team, and that student most likely will be assigned to that faculty advisor as a summer advisor. The summer advisor helps that student with that first initial course registration. As Tyra mentioned earlier about the Moodle tutorial, once the student completes that tutorial, they can then make an appointment with the advisor. What the advisor does initially is to send out almost like a welcome email to the student with a list of things that they need to do, so they at least have a name to the person who's going to help them serve in that summer capacity as an advisor, who they can reach out to and get in contact with someone at Clark. The second advisor is their first year intensive. Each first year student and each transfer student who's coming in with less than one full year of units, which are 8 courses completed, will be required to take a first year intensive. Once the student has chosen the first year intensive, the faculty advisor or the instructor of that first year intensive course will then become their pre-major advisor. And they can stay with that person until they declare their major, either at the end of or the beginning of the second semester or right before the end of their sophomore year. Some students are lucky where they would choose a first year intensive within the intended major and get lucky enough to stay with that advisor. Or, if something they may change. Once a student decide to declare a major, they are then assigned to a faculty advisor within that academic discipline. So if a student decides, I'm going to declare in economic, that advisor who's an expert in the economic field will be assigned to that student. We try never to have a student who declares something in psychology, have someone in geography be an advisor, because we want to make sure that that advisor knows what the student needs to take and make sure that student is completing all the requirements that are required in order to get the degree. So that is how the advising works. If a student happens to declare 2 majors with double major or to do a minor and a major, they are required to have an advisor within that academic discipline for each major or each minor that they declare.
Okay, so fall 2021 course selection. What would be helpful for everyone looking at these courses is to kind of have an open mind. At this point, you should be looking to explore the different disciplines, find out a little bit more about the different disciplines that are offered here at Clark, the different majors and concentrations and minors. These courses, such as the PLS and FYI, these courses will help facilitate that for you by giving you a wide range of disciplines in which to fulfill these requirements. So for the courses that you'll be selecting, everyone needs to register. All the first year students will need to register for an FYI or first year intensive course. These courses are designed for first years for those who may have an interest or those who kind of know what they're looking for. We have a variety of different FYI courses that you'll be taking for the first and second semester of your first year. The instructor for that course, the professor for that course will then become your advisor. So after you have met with your summer advisor and has selected your FYI course, your new advisor will then automatically transfer over to the instructor who is teaching your FYI course. You can keep that advisor until you decide to declare a major, but you'll keep that advisor through your first year. So the next set of courses would be your PLS requirements. So these are university requirements that are across 8 disciplines. There are 8 different PLS requirements. These will give you a broad range of the different disciplines here at Clark and kind of give you a better idea of what courses, what subjects are, in case you're interested in multiple, you have no idea of what you want to do and not sure. These courses will help you kind of focus in and think about different aspects of courses that maybe disciplines that you may not have really considered until actually being a part of that class. So these are really informative and really kind of help you to kind of expand your horizon, so to speak, your first year. So it's really about exploration your first year. So I would encourage you to, when you come in and you're selecting your courses, it would be a good idea to kind of focus in on your PLS requirements. These are university requirements, so you'll have to complete them before you can graduate. You do have all 4 years to complete your PLS requirements. However, it's more strongly encouraged that you do this your first and second years. Here at Clark, these classes are kind of more designed for your first and second year students. You'll get to know more of your classmates in these courses. And this, like I said, this is your chance to kind of explore and see what's out there before you kind of focus in your more advanced upper class courses your junior and senior year. And I would also encourage, again, underscore these are university requirements. So you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're the second semester senior and you still have PLS requirements to fulfill that will delay your graduation. So please keep that in mind with your PLS requirements. And we'll kind of go through them a little bit more in detail a little later, but you'll find these on the course grid on our website.
So I just wanted to quickly talk about what's required to earn a Clark degree. So there are 4 basic things that need to be completed in order to earn the Clark degree. First, your students must complete a minimum of 32 units or 32 courses. They must maintain a 2.0 GPA. They must complete all program of liberal studies requirements, and they must complete all major requirements. If a student declares a double major or major and minor, they're not required to complete both majors. As long as they have one completed, then they can earn a Clark degree. So that's just basically the 4 main things that we just want to touch base. We've had questions, or we've had a situation where, students maybe finished early with their major requirements, and already, if a major, says 14 classes are required, and then the students go and take all of these 14 classes, and they're like, okay, what next? They're assuming that, am I done? Am I graduated? No, because you still have to maintain that required 32 units. And sometimes a student will then have to try to figure out maybe another major or another minor. So just be mindful, 32 courses required. And we say units at Clark, where other schools say credit. And each of Clark credit, unit course is equivalent of 4 credits. So you must complete 32 courses and maintain a 2.0 GPA in order to earn a Clark degree.
Okay, hello, my Clark people. I'm back again. So just to kind of explain, in case you're not sure what PLS means, it means Program of Liberal Studies. And, it's not just we want to give you busy work. It's Clark wants you to leave Clark with more than the knowledge of your major. We want you to be well-rounded young adults ready to enter the world and make a difference. So that explains why we want you to pick up some other knowledge from some other courses. So let's break these down. So Clark's curriculum, the basics. So your perspective courses. You have your GP, that's what you'll hear it referred as. It's your global comparative. It's going to be a course to fulfill that somehow involves the globe as in entirety. There's economics courses that fill it. There's global history courses that fill it. There's so many different routes that you can go to fill any one of these perspectives that you're not sort of tunneled into taking one thing. The next one is the SP, the natural science perspective. So that's where you could take sort of a bio or a chem or other sort of natural sciences to fill. Your values perspective, VP, these are like ethics courses or other such courses that, teach you about values and how that will benefit you moving forward as an adult. Historical perspectives, which that's actually supposed to be an HP, but that's obvious. You'll be able to take history classes or classes that, have to do with some sort of a topic of history. Your aesthetic perspectives is your AP. We can refer to that as like an art perspective because any sort of art class would fill that. Language and culture perspective, this is where you can dip into sort of the languages you took in high school and build on that knowledge moving forward to get your LP. And then we have our critical thinking courses. So your formal analysis, FA, these are where you'll find a lot of math courses. Your verbal expression, that's where you're going to complete sort of your writing courses. And then your diversity inclusion, which is your D&I, which we have a selection of courses at Clark, which we pride ourselves on offering courses that involve diversity and inclusiveness. And then, of course, about the first year intensive. I'm going to turn this over to my fabulous boss, Yvette Walters. Since I am so new, I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to capstones and pop.
Thank you, Brandon. But I want to go back. Julia, can you go back to the next slide? I just want to make just one quick point I just want to point something out to the previous slide. So Brandon covered all of the prospective requirement. I just want to just make one quick note. All of the perspective, and I always say to the students, all of those that end with the P, all of the perspective must be taken in different departments. We have had instances where a student has become a senior and realized that they've had a global perspective, a values perspective, and a science perspective in the geography department. That has happened quite often. So we want to let the students know earlier on, these 6 must be taken within different departments. The other critical thinking classes and the diversity and inclusion course can be mixed in with any of the other departments. It's just that the perspective must be taken in different departments. So part of CLAP curriculum is what's called a problem of practice. This is where a student may learn something rather complex. They may do some sort of work with CLAP faculty or graduate student working with an external organization, getting some real world practical skills. As of now, the problem of practice courses are, they're not mandatory. So it's optional for a student to take. So if a student does not want to take one, that is fine. Some student may find they would prefer, instead of doing a pop course, they may then do an internship, which they feel they may get more practical experience, and that's fine. But you know, the pop courses are coming more and more popular, but as of now, they are not required. However, what is required is a capstone, and the capstone is almost it captures everything that a student has done in their 4 years working with the department. It can involve some sort of some significant issue or problem or field. We've had students who work in South America or who work with companies, big companies, to create and solve some sort of project that would help not only themselves, but you know, the community as a whole. And this student is, you know, this project is their own student initiative, where the student would work with the faculty member closely to get this curriculum and this all together, put everything in one and call it a capstone to prove that, you know, they have done something with their time at Clark. And then they present these capstones in a form of maybe a poster or something through academic squid. A couple of examples was an internship through a sustainability farm in Massachusetts. We had a student who did a study of community building in a Lebanese refugee camps. They do a lot of this kind of work with their faculty advisor, the faculty mentors, to prove that they have learned and they have done something while they're at Clark. So while a POP is not required, a capstone is. A lot of students have questions about what can I get from my IB or my AP courses. So Clark allows students, incoming students, to be awarded up to 4 units or up to 4 courses of what's called advanced standing placement. So if a student takes 4 AP courses and earn a 4 or 5, the student can then get 1 full semester's worth of courses for these classes at the AP. Each AP course is equivalent of 1 CLAC course. So I'll give you a quick example. So if a student takes AP Psychology, earning a 4 or 5 on that is the equivalent of CLAC Psychology 101 course. So instead of having the student retake Psych 101 at Clark gives the student the equivalent of the AP Psych as Psych 101, which means the student doesn't have to waste a semester's class time and take that class. Student can get up to 4. We have students who take multiple AP scores. We divide them accordingly because we don't want to throw any of the students' work away. So sometimes if a student has 5, we may divide it half a unit each to show that the student does have experience in this. And a lot of the AP courses are prerequisites to other courses. Another example, a lot of students take macroeconomics. The macroeconomics AP course is the equivalent to Econ 10. And so we would give credit for that. Whereas a student next step in the major would be Econ 11 and not have to take, which is principles of economics, without having to take Econ 10. We mentioned the program of liberal studies a little bit ago. Students can waive up to 2 of the PLS requirements with an AP course. And it can be, macroeconomics for the global perspective. So then that student would not be required to take another one because credit will be awarded for that. I say we offered, we give 4 units, and the 4 units can be in conjunction with the AP courses or dual enrollment courses. And students tend to take both. A lot of students tend to take both of those. If there's any student who took a dual enrollment course while they're in high school and received a grade of C or higher, I'm encouraging all those students to send those transcripts in, because those courses can be prerequisites to what the classes are required as they go along in their major. The only difference with that between the AP courses and the actual university courses is the number of credits that is being awarded to that course. If a course is 4 credits, that will come in as 1 CLAC unit, because as I mentioned, 1 CLAC unit is equivalent to one CLAC course is equivalent to 3 to 4 credits. If a student take a course that is 3 credits, it will transfer in as 0.75, but the student will not have to make that 0.25 unit up. So if a student takes into the psychology at a university and it comes in, they will get credit. It will be the same as getting credit for Psych 101, general psychology, without having to make that 0.25 unit up. So anybody, I know we had a lot of questions about these AP. A lot of the students who are coming in took English literature, which can affect their writing placement and which can exempt them from taking a writing placement. Unfortunately, we do not get those till like the end of July, and the writing placement was due in June. So we have a lot of students who are saying, hey, I haven't gotten my AP course. We still encourage the student to take that writing placement, because the quicker they can get the writing placement in, the quicker they can meet with the advisor. Because without the writing placement, whether it's from the writing placement or something else, that student cannot meet with the advisor and register for courses without that writing placement. While the math placement is optional, the writing placement is not. So if anyone who hasn't taken a writing placement as yet, I encourage you to do so instead of waiting on the AP course, because like Tyra mentioned, the classes are filling up rapidly. We have all this, we have students who are registering every day. We probably have some who are registering right now. So if you want to get your courses, I encourage you to send those either the university transcript in, and it has to come from the institution, not the high school. We want to get an official transcript from the university or the college you took the course, or the AP scores. Like I said, we don't get those right away. And it's not only AP or IB or dual enrollment. If a student takes, some kind of foreign, like, GCE or the CAPE or something, any of that sort of stuff, please send those in to us so we can award you those credits. So that way you will be able to get into the correct courses that you need.
So basically what we're looking here is a diagram of how things were in high school. You're noticing that 20% of your work was independent and the other 80% of it was taught in a classroom. This is how life will be at Clark. And you notice all that red, because we love red at Clark, obviously. So 20% of your time is going to be spent in the classroom, while 80% of your time you're going to have to use your independent, abilities to determine when and where to do your work. So, this is sort of a test. You're going to be alone on your own in the dorms, what have you, where we're hoping that these next few slides, we can sort of break down what we want you to do in that independent pie piece, that big chunk of that pie right there. Free time, cross it out, doesn't exist. What we have now at Clark is balanced and unscheduled time. So let's explain what this is. So balanced schedule ideas. So using the course selection worksheet helps you eliminate time conflicts and is super helpful when actually registering for classes. So basically, we want you to spend the time looking up the courses, making sure they all work and they fit in a realistic manner on a schedule on paper that's going to be something that you're going to be successful with in the fall. And, just if you haven't done so already, please make sure to pick a few backups, as classes, like Yvette has said, are getting registered into as we speak. Okay, so when building your schedule, it's sort of tricky because, it sort of can be like a puzzle. Every class has a different time. Sometimes two classes that you want meet at the same time and you have to prioritize. We want you to basically pick your classes and build your schedule around what you consider your most important class selections. Most people tend to maybe prioritize maybe a prerequisite course. Say for sure you want to go into sort of biology, you maybe want to take Bio 101, or if there's a certain PLS, program of liberal studies requirement, that you had in mind to take. This obviously is meant for you to dabble into different majors to give you the best information on what to choose as your major moving forward. But make sure you're sort of prioritizing what you think are your most important class selections, which do tend to be major prereqs or PLS requirements. I know the idea of putting all your classes on Tuesday, Thursday, so you can have super long weekends. In reality, you could be setting yourself up for failure. So like everything in life, balance is important. So keeping your schedule balanced means keeping your life balanced. It is super difficult to have 3 classes or 4 classes crammed into a Tuesday, Thursday time block. So just, keep that in mind when you're making your schedule out. And, obviously, you need to consider your sport obligations, work obligations, and other sort of extracurricular obligations you plan to be involved in the fall. When you balance, if you plan on working, for example, in the fall, you don't want to balance your school schedule around your work schedule. You really need to balance your work schedule around your school schedule, as your education and your success at Clark should definitely come before a job. It should come before extracurricular and sports as well. However, we know our students like to get involved and play sports. So this is why we really highly suggest making sure that you have a balance. So spreading the love out amongst the week is definitely the best route to go versus piling it on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Use the 5 days. And then make sure to plan for homework and study times when you are building out this schedule. I'll tell you this, succeeding at Clark courses will require both studying and homework time. So, get off on the right foot, make a good plan for yourself, and let's work towards graduation. So this is an example of a fairly balanced schedule. You're going to have to certainly take the courses when they're offered. So, maybe it may be more ideal if that arts class was Tuesday, Thursday, or what have you. But this is not awful. But this is basically your course schedule without any sort of obligations. You see your courses, and then you see your sleeping. Now, let's add the reality to what is behind this schedule slide. All right. So this is just another sample. This may not be your life in the fall, so please don't panic. But you see how we sort of gave you a great example. And, at 7:30, whether it's at 7:30 or at some point in the day, we hope you are showering. We hope you are eating breakfast. We hope you are getting ready for your day. And nobody says you need to have like a work at the Leap Center that's just an example, but everybody's life's going to be a little different. I want and expect you to plot out your life in a sort of manner like this that paints where you're going to be spending your time. I assure you it leads to the likelihood of success at Clark University.
So this is just a little cartoon, but it makes the point that we're trying to come across. To be successful, one of the tools that you're given in all of your classes is the syllabus. So if you look through the syllabus, pretty much every question that you may have, what topics are we going to be covering? It's in the syllabus. When's the next homework? What's the latest homework policy? It's all there in the syllabus. office hours, exam dates, project due dates, just about anything and everything that you'll need to guide you through the courses that you're taking can be found in the syllabus. So it's really important that you take the time when you get into your class, get the syllabus, read through it, see if the workload seems to be something that you're able to handle. Make sure that you're kind of plotting out on your schedule, your weekly schedule, maybe even your monthly schedule, when these deadlines are, when your papers are due, when the next exam is, how often you have to make a post on a group chat, for example. Make sure you take all of these into considerations. These aren't everyday occurrences. You know, you're not taking, for example, you're not taking an exam every day, but you might have a quiz every week and then an exam every third week or something like that. So you want to just kind of help build out and round out your schedule so there are no surprises for you. Everything you need pretty much should be in your syllabus so you can have a successful time in the class. All right, so successful students read the syllabus. So I'm sure your instructors will probably underline that in class on your first day, but please read the syllabus. Everything you need to know is in the syllabus. Be sure to visit office hours. If you're unsure, you don't want to ask a question in class, stop by your professor's office hours, make an appointment. That's what they're there for. A one-on-one session so you don't have to feel intimidated or overwhelmed. You can get that individual help that you may need in your class. So don't feel like you have to show up for class, know everything, and you're all alone. Your professor is there to encourage you, to inspire you, to educate you. Utilize your office hours, their office hours. And self-advocate. This may not be easy at first, but as the more you do it, the better you'll get. It's important that you communicate with your professor, right? Your professor can give you the syllabus and give you the assignments, but if you're struggling, your professor may not know until it comes out in a project or an exam when you're not doing well. So before you even get to that point, communicate with your professor and let them know if you're having a difficult time. You know, if there's some other things that are kind of diverting your attention, don't be shy. Make sure you let the professor know, and they'll be more than willing to work with you, right? Everybody has their lives, there are things that come up. We've so far survived a pandemic, a global pandemic. So obviously we know things come up, things change, sometimes very rapidly. So it's very important that you communicate. We offer tutoring services. So maybe your professor is not available at a particular time. Maybe it might be easier to learn from your peers. Please take advantage of the tutoring services that we have available. We have a great deal of resources available to you. We want you all to succeed. So please don't be shy, don't be intimidated, and don't forget to communicate. Make use of the Writing Center. So one of the classes, the VE, for example, the PLS requirement is based on your writing sample, right? So everything, when you're coming into Clark, you're required to submit a writing sample so that we can place you appropriately. Everyone is going to need to write and write with some authority, with some academic knowledge. Not everybody is a writer. Go to the Writing Center. There are people there that are there to help you and want to help you, right? We understand that you are not writing your dissertation. You are not looking to write the next great novel. And even if you are, everyone could use a little help, right? So please make use of the Writing Center. And your advisor's here for you. We're here to give you the support and advice that you're looking for, that you need. Sometimes the advice may not be exactly what you're wanting to hear, but you're needing to hear it. So we're here for you. We're here to see you succeed. That's why we do the advising that we do. We want you to succeed. We want you to have an amazing time here at Clark. Clark is an amazing university, and the better you feel, the happier you'll be, the more successful you'll be. So please talk with your advisor. And act with academic integrity, right? We are all here to learn. We're all improving. So it's important that if you know that you're kind of not strong in an area, ask for help, right? We're learning. You're here to learn, right? You're here to grow. So don't try and cover up or use, we'll say, questionable means to get through. That's not helping you. That can only hurt you, either immediately or in the long run. So don't take the shortcuts. Go get the help you need. There's plenty of people here to help you. There's several resources available. We want you to succeed, and don't be embarrassed. Please do not feel embarrassed that someone is talking about you or looking at you a certain way, disappointed in you. What's disappointing is having the help and not taking it. That's the only thing that I can say. We want you to feel comfortable in asking for help, coming to us if you're struggling, and utilizing the resources. And this is your work. This is a reflection of you. So you want to put your best foot forward at all times. And I can also suggest connecting with a Clark employee, right? So we're all here, whether we're your professor, whether we're your teaching assistant, advisor here in academic advising. Mentors come in all shapes and forms. So please, we're here in higher education. We're here at Clark because we want to see you succeed. We're investing in you, right? This isn't a job. This is a calling. This is a purpose. We're investing in you. So please take the time to meet and connect with one of the employees. We'll more than willing to help you. Okay. So this is the academic, the Shake Family Alumni Center. ASEC is what it's usually referred to, the ASEC building. This is the newest building on campus, little fancy there. We're located on the second floor of the ASEC building, room 214. So please feel free. We're coming back on campus face to face. So it's nice to say you can stop by our offices now. But if not, if you're unable to, I believe we're still, available through Zoom. We're still available through email. But it's good to say that in the fall, we will be there on campus. So you can stop in, you can make an appointment, and you can meet with us.
I think that's the end of it. Can you, Julie, the last slide that Tyra showed also have the information for the help desk. So if anyone is having any technical issues or anything going on, Julie, could you show that slide one more time? Feel free to reach out to the help desk. We can help you if you have an issue with Moodle or anything with your computer. They would be more than willing to assist you in whatever it is that you're having some difficulties with. I want to say one quick thing about the Writing Center. The Writing Center is not only for your writing English classes. You can use any of your class and assignment, even if you are a poet in the making or you're writing anything, the Writing Center will be willing to help you, even if it's something personal. They would be willing to help you. The only thing that they would not do is for you to drop off your work and leave it with them and go back and pick it up. They want you to sit next to them. So when you bring your work, you make an appointment, they sit with you and they go through, the areas where you meet, where they're really good, or so they will go through the whole paper. They will not allow you to just drop it off and leave. But they would help you in any class, anything you want to do, anything personal, anything for class. So please, we encourage you to use the Writing Center. We have faculty members who use the Writing Center. So like Tyra said, it's there for anybody. There is no shame. There's no stigma on anybody who uses any of the services we provide, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you not only with the transition from high school to college, but we are helping you go through the whole 4 years and possibly the 5th year free master's program that Clark offers. So we're here for you. You use us. We like when we see you. We like to meet with you. I have to say one quick thing. The last year has been really hard for me personally because I'm so involved with the students. I'm the advisor to several student club, and not being able to meet with the student face to face has been hard. So just know we appreciate you. We welcome you. We want you to want us. So please feel free to come and spend some time with us. We'd be happy to sit down with you and just chit chat about anything that you want to talk about. And I just want to say thank you everyone for joining us.
Thanks, Yvette. I love that. And I love that advice on that last slide. Very pertinent information. We did have a few questions come in that I just want to ask. And if folks are still having questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat before you head out and we can answer them. The first one was about, way back at the beginning of the session, was about the faculty advisor information form. Does that only go to the summer advisor? Or will that be available to the advisors throughout the duration of a student's life cycle at Clark?
We have what's called an advising folder. And once the student send that form in, it automatically attaches to that student advising folder. And the summer advisors, like I do, I review that before I meet with the student in case there's something I want to talk about. If something, you have something like a weakness or a strength or something that we can discuss. That never leaves the student advising folder. So once the student switches over to whether to the pre-major advisor, which is the faculty with the first year advisor, or the major advisor, that faculty information form is always going to be there and accessible to the advisor, and only the advisor that student is assigned to. So if I can just go in and say, I'm going to just randomly pick a student and look at that, because I am not that student advisor and I would not have access to that.
Wonderful, thank you. We have some questions about the easiest way to view all available classes on the course listing. Folks feel like it's a little overwhelming, particularly right now with some of the classes that are filled up. So is there any tips or tricks you have about looking at that grid and kind of deciphering it a little bit?
Definitely. On the course grid, once a student or anybody click on the courses that are available for the fall, there is a link that goes to all of the courses. There's one for the first year intensive, but there's also one that says courses available with open seats. So that is the quickest way that the registrar's office thought would be helpful for students if they were to put that so the student can see at a glance what courses are available for and has spaces. So if it says courses with seats remaining open, if a student or someone were to click on that, they will see all of the courses that still has available seats. Now, I just want to say, I want to say one quick, sorry, Ty, I want to say one quick thing about courses and available seats. If a class is full, there are some faculty members who would allow students to enter the class. They give the student a special override. So if there's a class that someone really, really want to take, I would suggest reaching out to that faculty member and see if that faculty member be willing to give them an override to enter the class. Now, the faculty member may say no, but it all depends on the classroom size. So if a faculty member is teaching a class that has 25 seats and there are 25 people in there, of course, the student can't, the faculty member would not be allowed to add another student in there because of the limited capacity seating. But if there's a class that if the faculty member happens to get a big class, and have a cap of 25, but there are 35 seats, it depends. This faculty member may just say yes. If you can see, a lot of the courses has more than the cap. That's because the faculty has allowed some students to enter into the classroom. Tyra?
So I also wanted to add that when you go to the screen, the link that says seats available, just please take in mind the column that says the capacity or cap, the capacity, and the column next to it with the ENR for enrolled. Sometimes it'll show a class as open, but it may have one seat available. Right, so just keep that in mind, and kind of to piggyback off of what Yvette said, if that's a class that you're really interested in and you enroll, it was open, but then by the time you try to enroll, it's full, to reach out to the professor. And also in that same kind of vein, in that list of links on the course grid, it also has a link to courses that fulfill the different PLS and FYI designations. So if you're looking to fulfill certain PLS requirements, you can click on that link. Just be aware that it'll pull up the course, and it may be full, it may be open, and it'll just pull up the course that fills those particular designations. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind.
One thing that I also want to point out is the column that says comment. That is very important. Comment or prerequisites. I've had some of my advisees who may want to choose a course set like perhaps Econ 10, would send in the lecture. But if you were to scooch over to the comments and prerequisite, it says something like student must register for discussion 1901 or something. So that column is also very important. Some of the classes may say juniors and seniors only, may say must take a prerequisite to class. So if when you're choosing classes, be mindful of the comment and prerequisite comments. That because if you were to go through and select classes, and then when I'm meeting with a student, said, well, the column says you can't take because you're not a senior or junior, then we have to start all over again to define classes. So that column is really important if you would just pay attention to that, and that would help eliminate some of the wasted time that you may run into.
We have a student who's intending to take a gap semester and is wondering if the due dates for completion of the faculty advisor information form, as well as the course selection worksheet, will be postponed if they are not coming to school this semester.
So if a student wishes to take a gap year, that will go through admissions. And what admissions would do, they would, once they approve that, then the student record will technically be erased from the clock, which means I would not be able to go in and access it or look at anything because it says record does not exist. When the student returns in the fall, say 2022, they may have to do the same thing over again. They may not have to do the writing placement because once the writing placement is there, it stays. And like I said, once if the student is record is reactivated, that information may still be there, but that basically will go through admission. So as far as I know, nothing is erased from the student record. It just has to be reactivated to active status, and everything will just fall back into place.
Do you know, or how does a student find out about the GPA requirements for a particular academic scholarships? Like what they have to keep their GPA up for the trainer, or what they need their standard GPA to be able to participate in the 5th year free program?
So there are like 2 questions. I want to answer them one at a time. So I'm going to just break that down. So a couple of years ago, they had all of these different GPA requirements for all of the different majors. I think last year, and this goes to financially, so anybody can double check with that, they changed it to just one GPA all across the board of a 2.0 or satisfactory academic progress. So once a student maintains that 2.0 GPA and maintain the number of units required, I think it may be 5 in that first year, the GPA, the scholarship should be fine. But I would suggest reaching out to financially for more succinct information about that. But it's just academic satisfactory progress, which is 2.0. The second part of the question is the accelerated degree program. For most programs, the required GPA is a 3.4 GPA. There are a couple of programs like the GIS and international development that requires like a 3.6 GPA. And those GPA come, so once that is calculated, the first year GPA is eliminated. So if a student fails or the student get all A's or whatever, either way, because we recognize that the first year may be some student may be stronger than others. So that first year GPA is eliminated. And then what it is will be a combination of your sophomore and junior year would then give you initial entrance into the 5th year program, or we call it 5th year, but it's the ADP program. And then once you get in for that senior year, for the 2 semesters of the senior year, the student must maintain that 3.4 GPA. So it's almost like a 2-step GPA calculation, the sophomore, junior, and then the senior year. So each program has an advisor. So if someone has any specific questions, I would suggest reach out to the advisors, and the information is on the CLAP website. But for most, it's a 3.4 GPA.
We have a student who says they've completed everything to schedule an appointment with their advisor in Moodle, but can't schedule an appointment because it says appointments are not available, and they haven't received an email from their advisor. What should they do?
Okay. Go ahead, Tyra. And I'll go after you. You may answer this question.
So, sure. I would say just send us an email to the general advising email box, advising@clarku.edu. And then I'll more than likely get that email, and I will look up your advisor, and I will connect you directly with your advisor so that you can make an appointment. And that advisor is aware, so you'll have their information, they'll have your information, and then you two can connect and schedule that appointment.
Exactly what Tyra said.
This next question made me laugh because I know it's been a piece of, it's been a question in a lot of different spaces, and today was all over the advising listserv as well. Should an FYI class relate to an individual's intended major?
No. Simple answer, no. The first year intensive is of interest to anybody. I would suggest, so I'm going to give a quick example. And we had this question today, Danielle, as you know, because that's circulated today. Say if a student is interested in economics, there is an economic first year intensive, but then the student is interested in psychology FYI. The student can then go ahead and take that first year interest in psychology because it's of their own interest. Because most of these, the major have like the 100 level courses that the student can take, and those 100 level courses will definitely count towards the major or fulfill the core requirements of a major. So the first year intensive that a student takes does not have to do anything at all with the intended major.
Thank you. And often the FYIs that are available are going to fulfill some of your perspectives or some other things. So it's not like if you don't get into an FYI in your major, you're not going to be able to do that major. In fact, we encourage it, right? Because it's all about learning different things. I knew that was a hot topic. There is a question about how someone registers for the Navigator course choice, and they put that in quotes. Says the website says this is an added 50-minute section of an FYI course. They don't know how to put a CRN in or how to register for it.
Well, that's fairly simple. Last fall, the Navigator was separate to the first year intensive, which means the student had to register for a first year intensive and then try to find a navigator section that suit their schedule. This year, they have combined the Navigator or link a navigation section to an FYI. So once a student registers for an FYI, a first year intensive, they automatically enroll into the first year intensive. Because if you look at the grid and you have a course that's offered Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you may see something in the evening that says 7:50 to 7 to 7:50. That is a Navigator section. So there's no separate registration. Once a student registers for an FYI, they automatically enroll in that link FYI. That link Navigator.
So this student says there's still a separate section on the course selection page for the Navigator. And you know, some of the larger classes that you can take as an FYI, you sign up for the discussion, and it says the FYI discussion in particular, and it might include two things. And so anytime you see kind of that 50-minute edition, that usually is the Navigator component of the FYI class, correct?
Correct. There are some courses that I keep picking on econ because econ not only have the lecture section, they have the discussion section, and they also have the Navigator section. So when your student is registering for an Econ 10, they will have to register for their lecture, which automatically, if there's an FYI, automatically link to that Navigator section, but then the student has to go and register and add the discussion section. So then the student will be using most likely 2 CRN numbers for that one course.
If there are particular questions, I know Tyra, you said there was an advising email that might be beneficial for people just to email if they have general questions and they're not getting to their advisor?
Absolutely. I am more than happy to take the time and connect you with your advisor. This is an important time for you. So please, if you're having trouble getting in touch with your advisor, just let us know and I will be there to link you up with your advisor and make sure they get in touch with you.
That email was just one more time for folks is
advising@clarku.edu.
wonderful. And I will say for students that are concerned that they're doing something wrong when they register, the system will tell you, right? We joke and say the little red things pop up. If you're not registered for the lab you're supposed to be, or if you're missing your navigator, it tends to kind of tell you all of those things, and you'll do that with your advisor when you register for classes. So hopefully that will go well. But if you have any additional questions, as you hopefully have learned over the past hour, Yvette, Tyra, and Brandon are here for you. There's lots of staff that are willing to support you in this process as you are registering for classes for the first time. And we can't wait to have you on campus in less than almost like 5 weeks. Some of you are coming back in less than a month. So we are very excited. But thank you for joining us for this webinar. Next Thursday, we are back with the Career Connection Center, and they're going to talk with students all about how to set up their Handshake account and apply for jobs on campus, because jobs will be posted to work the fall semester beginning July 15th. So follow up on all those deadlines that you have coming up. There's some important ones this month. And if you have any questions, we are always here to support you either through email or phone or anything else. Thanks so much, the advising team. We appreciate you all. We hope you all have a wonderful weekend.